Good afternoon, and welcome to the Fostoria Christmas Festival, sponsored by the Fostoria Community Arts Council. The Fostoria Community Band is under the direction of Craig McKenzie. I'm Mrs. Claus, your announcer for the afternoon. During the Christmas season, we are all children at heart. When the first notes of Christmas music hit the airwaves, we await with childlike glee the coming of Christmas. So we have titled the community band's portion of this concert, Christmas Through a Child's Eyes. But before we continue with our Christmas celebration, would you please rise as you are able and honor our nation by joining with the band in singing our national anthem. In 1897, in New York City, a young girl wrote to the editor of the New York Sun questioning the existence of Santa Claus. The classic editorial response, "Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus," has charmed generations of families during the Yuletide season. This inspiring text, set to music by Robert W. Smith, includes holiday favorites that bring these famous words to life. Please welcome Adelaide Guernsey, daughter of band member Tom Guernsey as Virginia, and Jean Kinn from the Fostoria Review-Times as the editor. So, do you believe?
Dear editor, I am 8 years old. Some of my little friends say there is no Santa Claus. Papa says if you see it in the sun, it is so. Please tell me the truth. Is there Santa Claus? Virginia O'Hanlon.
Virginia, your little friends are wrong. They've been affected by the skepticism of a skeptical age. They do not believe except they see. They think that nothing can be which is not comprehensible by their little minds. All minds, Virginia, whether they be men's or children's, are little. In this great universe of ours, man is a mere insect, an ant in his intellect as compared with the boundless world about him, as measured by the intelligence capable of grasping the whole truth and knowledge. Yes, Virginia, there is a Santa Claus. He exists as certainly as love and generosity and devotion exist. And you know that they abound and give to your life its highest beauty and joy. Alas, how dreary would be the world if there were no Santa Claus. It would be dreary as if there were no Virginias. There would be no childlike faith then, no poetry, no romance to make tolerable this existence. We should have no enjoyment except in sense and sight. The eternal light with which childhood fills the world would be extinguished. Not believe in Santa Claus, you may as well not believe in fairies. You might get your papa to hire men to watch in all the chimneys on Christmas Eve to catch Santa Claus. But even if you did not see Santa Claus coming down, what would that prove? Nobody sees Santa Claus, but that's no sign that there is no Santa Claus. The most real things in the world are those that neither children nor men can see. Did you ever see fairies dancing on the lawn? Of course not, but that's no proof that they're not there. Nobody can conceive or imagine all the wonders there are, unseen and unseeable in the world. You tear apart the baby's rattle and see what makes the noise inside. But there is a veil covering the unseen world, which not the strongest man, nor even the united strength of all the strongest men that ever lived, could tear apart. Only faith, poetry, love, romance can push aside that curtain and view and picture the supernal beauty and glory beyond. Is it all real? Ah, Virginia, in this world, there is nothing else real and abiding. No Santa Claus? Thank God he lives and lives forever. Nay, 10,000 years from now, he will continue to make glad the heart of childhood.
Children love toys, and because of that, they would love to visit a toy maker's workshop to see how they're made. This charming holiday novelty piece opens with Bavarian-style folk melodies. As the picture of the workshop is painted by the melodies, we become acquainted with the toys. As portrayed by the members of the band, woodwinds, brass, and percussion, percussionists quickly alternate between traditional and accessory instruments, toys, while the woodwinds and brass add humor with glissandos, color punches, and imitation. Enjoy the raucous humor of the Toy Maker's Workshop. March of the Toys, from the operetta Babes in Toyland, wove together various characters from Mother Goose nursery rhymes into a Christmas-themed musical extravaganza. The original production opened at the Chicago Grand Opera House in 1903. The operetta was so popular that it spawned other fairy tale shows over the next decades and has been enjoyed many successful tours and revivals over the years. As a child, you might imagine the toys coming to life after hours at the toy maker's workshop. How the Grinch Stole Christmas is a children's story by Theodore Dr. Seuss Geisel, written in rhymed verse with illustrations by the author. The book was adapted as a 1966 animated TV film starring Boris Karloff. A 2000 live-action feature was starring Jim Carrey, and the 2018 3D computer animated film adaptation, of course, is starring Benedict Cumberbatch. Of all the Dr. Seuss stories, possibly none is more delightfully charming than the one about the mean old who disliked Christmas so much that he stole all the presents, the toys, and even the Christmas trees. As should befall any villain, he is transformed, and his heart grew 3 times its size. This band arrangement, containing 2 favorite songs and some incidental music, was written for all of you Who's here in Whoville. I'm so glad to see the next song on the program. I watched the movie last night. The Polar Express is a children's book written and illustrated by Chris Van Allsburg and published in 1985. Since the story was expanded into a full-length animated fantasy film in 2004, children of all ages have been donning their pajamas and drinking hot chocolate while watching The Polar Express, starring Tom Hanks as the conductor. The film used 21st century technology, which incorporated the movements of live actors into three-dimensional animation. The songs composed by veteran movie music writers Alan Silvestri and Glenn Ballard are Believe, which earned a Grammy for Josh Groban, The Polar Express, When Christmas Comes to Town, and Spirit of the Season. All aboard! Next stop, Christmas. And now a word from our director.
Thank you for your attendance this afternoon. I hope you're enjoying listening to the music of the Christmas season as much as we enjoy performing it for you. I'd like to take the opportunity just to thank a few people to make this concert possible. Mr. Kaufman and Mrs. Olenek for collaborating and making the combined concert a reality. I'd like to thank the band members for their hard work, their talent, and attendance at our rehearsals. For your knowledge, the community band is open to any community member who plays a concert band instrument. We have members from high school through retirees. And I would like to actually recognize the high school students that we have today. So, we have high school students from Fostoria, stand up, and Hopewell Loudon, and New Regal, and Gibsonburg, and Ottawa Glandorf, and Lima Shawnee. Did I miss any? Where? Arcadia, that's right, and Arcadia. So thank you very much. Okay, you can have a seat. I would also like to recognize those people who joined the band. This is your first time playing in the Fostoria Community Band, this concert. Would you stand up, please? We want to recognize you and thank you for coming in. This is your first time around. Awesome. Awesome, awesome. Next year, the band will celebrate its 25th anniversary, and we've got some special things planned. But I would like to recognize a few more people from the band. If you have played in the band for 15 years or more, would you please stand? Veteran members, 15 years or more. Okay, how about 20 years or more? Who's played in the band for more than 20 years or more? Look at that, isn't that cool? Okay, all right, thank you. The band rehearses on Thursday evenings over at Fostoria Intermediate Elementary School. Our next rehearsal is scheduled for January the 10th, so we got a few weeks off. It's from 7 to 9 p.m., and we hope that more of you might be able to join us. Our next concert will be March 17th. If that sounds familiar, like why does March 17th ring a bell? That's because it's St. Patrick's Day. So March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, 3 p.m. at Wesley United Methodist Church. And the concert is titled Renaissance, a spring celebration. So you're going to hear a lot of spring music and music about rebirth and Irish music for St. Patrick's Day. Okay? So we hope to see many of you there. Don't forget, you can follow us on Facebook and search for us on the web as well. And finally, let's all thank the Fostoria Community Arts Council for sponsoring today's concert.
You don't have to be a child to see Christmas through a child's eyes. Classic Christmas melodies will often take us back to our childhood. 4 holiday pop standards from the 50s are featured in this fun-filled and entertaining holiday medley. Featuring tunes are Rock Around the Clock, Frosty the Snowman, the Christmas Waltz, and There's No Place Like Home for the Holidays. Take a stroll down memory lane with this sparkling holiday medley featuring Tom Guernsey on trumpet, Hal Babcock on alto saxophone, and Rachel Fleck, our vocalist.
painted candy canes on the tree. Santa's on his way, he's filled his sleigh with things for you and for me. It's the time of year when the world falls in love. Every song you hear seems to say, Merry Christmas, may your New Year dreams come true. Oh, there's no place like home for the holiday, for no matter how far away you roam, if you pine for the sunshine of a friendly gaze, for the holidays you can't be home, sweet home. I met a man who came from Tennessee, and he was headed for Pennsylvania and some homemade pumpkin pie. From Pennsylvania, folks are traveling down to Dixie's southern shore. From Atlantic to Pacific, gee, the traffic is terrific. Oh, there's no place like home for the holidays, 'cause no matter how far away you roam, if you want to be happy in a million ways, for the holidays you can't be home, sweet home.
Now, if you will give us a few minutes, we are going to set the stage for the Fostoria Community Band to leave and the Fostoria High School Concert Band to set up. Just give us a few minutes, please.
welcoming our Associate Director, Mrs. Bridget Poletti. Good evening, afternoon. We have a couple transitions to make as we make two groups into one. Before we do that, I have a couple announcements to make. High school people, do you want to maybe find your combined seating while we're waiting here? Next up is the 6th grade gig band. This is a group from the intermediate school across the street. Most of these students have been playing for 2 years, and they're very excited to play for you here today. This is an audition-only group, and they're feeling extra holly and jolly, so I'm sure it's going to be great. They're going to play while we're setting up, so community band people, if you want to come on up, and let's try and keep it as low-key as possible so that we can hear the young kids play. That'd be great. I want to thank the Fostoria Arts Council for their sponsorship of the community band and the event today. Also, they also sponsored or helped sponsor a fantastic outdoor art display that it's been downtown Fostoria since the summertime. If you haven't been downtown Fostoria lately, I encourage you to do so. Buy something while you're down there also. But there are, I believe, 7 or 8 different sculptures of various materials downtown, all on Main Street, and I really encourage you to go down and check those out. It's really fantastic and adds a lot to the town. Also, you'll notice on the live screen, you'll keep seeing a little ad pop up for ProMedica Fostoria Hospital, who's working in coordination with the fine folks at FETV, who do our live streaming and all of our all the concerts and do just a fabulous job. And ProMedica Fostoria Hospital has stepped up to help them acquire some things and meet some needs that they have. And so they are sponsoring our live feed today on the internet. If you ever can't get to one of our shows, we encourage you to look at FETV. They have the choir concerts. They have all the fine arts performances, as well as lots of other great student-led content. And so please check them out. You can check them out on, if they still have Channel 10, I don't know, since the switch to Spectrum, I don't know if that's a thing, but there's a YouTube channel, there's a Facebook page, and I know that they'd love to have you there. Also, special thanks to all of you for being here today. We really appreciate your support. There's a lot of people here today, which is great. And thank you for your patience with all the parking and the entrances. Obviously, we are mid-construction project. At this time next year, we will be starting to pack boxes, if everything stays on schedule, and we'll be much of this building will be moving across the way there to the new building, and so that's super exciting, and we are looking forward to that. And thank you for, if you were a member of our Fostoria community, thank you for your support on that levy, and thank you for your continuing support of what we do here, not just today, but with all the athletic teams and all the students, and we sure appreciate everything that, all the support that our community gives us. Mrs. O, you about set, kind of, sort of? She's working on it. So there were these 2 snowmen. No, I'm just kidding. I won't tell any jokes today. All right. Well, as soon as they get done here, then we will go to the gig band, and then we will continue with the community band concert. Well, the combined concert. So, ladies and gentlemen, the 6th grade gig band.
Thank you, Mrs. Olenek, and the 6th graders. Wow, the future of Fostoria High School Concert Band. The combined band's first selection is based on the poem "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" by Clement Clark Moore. Ohio composer James Swearingen sets it amidst familiar Christmas carols, including "Ding Dong Merrily on High," "Jingle Bells," "Up on the Housetop," "Jolly Old St. Nicholas," and "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." Please welcome Mayor Eric Keckler as he joins the combined bands for "'Twas the Night Before Christmas."
"'Twas the night before Christmas, and all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. The stockings were hung by the chimney with care, in hopes that St. Nicholas soon would be there. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Mom in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave the luster of midday to objects below. When what to my wondering eyes should appear but a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer. With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be St. Nick. More rapid than eagles his courser they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer, now Vixen, on Compton, on Cupid, on Donner and Blitzen, to the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. As dry leaves before the wild hurricane fly, When they meet with an obstacle, mount to the sky. So up to the housetop the coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys, and St. Nicholas too. And then a twinkling I heard on the roof, the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. As I grew in my head and was turning around, down the chimney St. Nicholas came with a bound. He was dressed all in fur from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. And bundle of toys he flung on his back, and he looked like a peddler just opening his pack. His eyes, how they twinkled, his dimples, how merry. His cheek were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His droll little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and the beard on his chin was as white as the snow. The stump of a pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke encircled his head like a wreath. He had a broad face and a round little belly that shook when he laughed like a bowl full of jelly. He was chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf, and I laughed when I saw him, in spite of myself. A wink of his eye and a twist of his head soon gave me to know I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work, and filled all the stockings, then turned to his with a jerk. And laying his finger aside of his nose, and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang up to his sleigh, to his steam gave a whistle, and away they flew like the down of a thistle. And I heard him explain, ere he drove through the sight, and to all a good night.
Thank you, Mayor Keckler. Leroy Anderson's famous sleigh ride was first recorded in 1949 by Arthur Fiedler and the Boston Pops. Mr. Anderson then recorded his version of Sleigh Ride in 1950. Lyrics were later written by Mitchell Parrish. Johnny Mathis is believed to be the first singer to record a vocal version of the song in 1958 with an orchestra conducted by Percy Faith. So think back to the days of a sleigh ride through the snow as the harness bells jingled, the horses whinnied, and you tucked blankets around yourself to keep warm. We conclude today's concert with Sleigh Ride. Thank you to our three directors, Mr. Kaufman, Mrs. Olenek, and Mr. McKenzie. Thank you very much. We want to thank you all for your attendance this afternoon. And children who are in the audience, if you would meet me down here, I believe my elves packed a little treat. Merry Christmas, everybody.